Yes, I couldn't believe that Xhaka was booked and Eze wasn't. The inconsistency of referees will always be there, won't it?
I
Um,
think that's the bias as well to Shaki. Like you see it more now than before because he did just used to make ridiculous, tackles. So I think as a fan, you think, oh, he's done it again. I think that has, you know, gone into the referees as well. There is that bias there because of who he is.
yeah. But where you touched on his maturity, he would have been sent off 2 seasons ago. He would have got a second yellow card for something stupid. But he kept himself out of trouble and kept his powder clean, didn't he? And just
Yeah.
and stuck to his job well. And actually, he was the better midfielder second half. I thought Partey. I don't know if the booing affected him or not, but he seemed to fade out of the game. And Xhaka was the sort of dominant one in there for us. To credit to him, but he's the one that we'd want to upgrade on, I think.
Yeah. And I think towards like the end of last season, you could see that, as he had matured, he's getting a lot of love from the fans. And I think the fans, he always knew about that hate, regardless of, if he turns his comments off or what, he would have known that the fans had turned on him, that game. I can't remember who it was that he played now, where, it was taking ages to get off the pitch. We were losing. I was actually at that game and I couldn't believe how
So it was
long
at
it was
Palace,
taking. Yeah,
ironically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how long it was taking to get off the pitch, and he couldn't understand that we were chasing that game, we wanted something from it, and he's walking off like with 10-0 up, and he's
Mm.
as soon as he took his shirt off, obviously he's captain as well. As soon as he took his shirt off, I was there with I think I was there with my brother-in-law, and I said to him, if he throws that down, there's no way back from that. He didn't actually throw it down, but he didn't come out, he didn't apologise, and I thought he'd never play again. I thought that was it, he's done, he's dusty. But I'm glad that he actually has, and I'm glad that we're seeing a different player. He definitely contributes to the team. I think his experience is important for the players around him, like Sambi, the young ones that can learn from him. But he has matured, and I think he can definitely feel that love now, and I think that's also
Helps, doesn't it?
something. Yeah, that's something that's
Yeah.
obviously driving him. His goal against United, typical Xhaka goal. When he scores, he makes sure that he's scored a proper goal. And the love
Mm.
that he got from the fans, he felt. I think he got man of the match. Did he get man of the match for that game?
I think he did. I think he got player of the month, didn't he, for April,
Yeah.
which was, good for him. His ability wise is very good. I
Mm,
think he lacks mobility, which gets him in trouble. All footballers make mistakes. All footballers are going to give the ball away or get sent off or something like that. But because he's never an outstanding 8 or 9 out of 10, it doesn't build up credit in the bank. When
yeah.
he does something stupid, you think, oh, for God's sake, how is this clown still playing? And I
Yeah.
mean clown not in a derogatory way, but last season I see he cut it out. Although I will say I've watched 3 episodes of All or Nothing, and I've seen him get sent off twice in the first 3 episodes. But he can count himself a little bit unlucky with some of the red cards last year, to be fair. But yeah, like you say, he's matured. He's got better. It's not when he plays, I don't cringe anymore. There was a
Yeah.
spell where I'd see his name on the team sheet and I'd hate it, but now I just think, no, actually, I'm glad he's playing. We need him.
Yeah.
But that says more about the other options than him, maybe, which is why I think, like I said, we've already touched on it. We need another one. Definitely need a centre midfielder.
Yeah. And obviously, Jesus. I actually can't
Mm-hmm.
believe we got him. I can't believe we got him, and I can't believe we got him for the price that we got him. Simply because there was other clubs that were mentioned with him. Chelsea obviously got Champions League football. They tried to hijack it. Real Madrid, I believe, were linked with him as well. And ultimately, he chose us, and he actually chose us. And I think as fans, we acknowledge that. You can tell already the fans absolutely love him. I think he's fit right into the team. You can tell he's got that, bond with, Gabby, and um,
Mm.
you can see him watching the videos on, Arsenal put on during pre-season. And he's that kind of player for us, isn't he? He's that player that we need, that, that strike that we haven't had. I know,
But
Lacazette.
with Aubameyang in the first couple of years of him being there,
Yeah,
the last 18 months of his Arsenal career were shambolic for one reason or another. You're right, we've got a forward to get behind. And I just hope, I mean, he should have scored, shouldn't he? Friday night. He was unlucky
Yeah,
with it. What a goal it would have been. I I didn't realise how good he was. No, I've got a mate that go when we go to Arsenal, we go together. He didn't want us to sign him.
yeah,
But I think he's caught a lot of people out. A lot of our fans have been taken aback by how good he is. Even the chance he set up for Odegaard, he had no right to rob Mark Guy of that ball and square it, but he wouldn't have got that from Lacazette. And
no,
this is what I mean about it being an upgrade. Even Nketiah, you go back to last year when he got into the team, the goal he scored against Chelsea, the first one, where he was chasing down the defenders and then run
yeah,
away from them because he had the pace. It's so vital to have good movement and good agility up front. And you couple that in with his skill and finishing ability. I think Jesus is going to score 25 to 30 goals in all competitions this year. I think
yeah.
he's going to be deadly when he gets going.
And if you
Um,
look what he's got around him as well, Odegaard, Parsley as well, these creative players, Saka, Martinelli, he is going to get chances and he is going to put them away. And I think not only that, watching him, he holds the ball up well as well. I know he's not, 6 foot whatever, and he's got that physicality, but he's got that technical ability. He holds the ball up well. He knows where the players are around him. He's got the
yeah,
pace. He chases down everything. I think you see that with Odegaard as well. He's always chasing down. He's always waving his arms, getting Martinelli and Saka pressing up as well. But I think he's just like another piece to the puzzle, isn't he? And he's typically what Arsenal have always had, pace, that ability one on one,
yeah.
it's gonna be deadly. And I think City don't seem to realise that Sterling and Jesus are top players, and I think they are definitely gonna miss them this season. I know they've got Haaland, I know they've got Alvarez, they've got Grealish, but
Mm,
if you look at Grealish at Villa and look at Grealish at City, and you've got Sterling in the mix, I wouldn't be taking Man City, Grealish over Sterling. To be honest, I think England's a different setup. When England were playing, I'd have rather had Grealish, but for Man City in the way that they set up, Sterling's just. I mean, I watched that Chelsea game yesterday. He give them a bit of a bit of trouble here and there, but I think they are really going to miss those players, and I think even though they've got Haaland, even though they've got Alvarez, they are going to miss him. Um, but
do you
it's
not think their hand was forced because they're both in the last year of their contract?
yeah,
So they've just took a combined 95 million for the pair. So I think they'd probably be quite happy with their
yeah.
figures, but
I
they
guess it's
will
smart.
probably wish that they'd tied them down.
Yeah, I think
They
it's
wanted both of
smart.
them to stay, didn't they? They offered both contracts, and it's not like they wanted them out the door. But yeah, I agree 100% that that's 40 goals a season they've just lost.
Yeah, and the
Maybe more. I
creativity
don't
as
mean,
well. When you look at the creativity of both of them, uh,
mm,
yeah. I mean, City today they just obviously they got the job done. Holland got his goals. That's all that is really going to matter.
yeah,
But if you actually looked at them, they weren't as devastating as we know that they can be. I think if they'd have had not last season, season before squad, they'd have they'd have
they've been
absolutely
5-0 today.
yeah, and probably more.
Mm,
But obviously they're in a stage where they've got to adapt around the players that they've got. But I am really excited to see us with the players that we've got. I do want to see some more coming in. Saliba, um, I think he's going to be vital for you know any points that we pick up. I think Ramsdale having that strength in front of him, that's only going to be good for him. Hopefully, more clean sheets because we all know how he feels about those clean sheets after watching All
yeah,
or Nothing. And it's good
yeah.
to see that even though we won the game, and that obviously that's what you want. You want those points. He really wanted that clean sheet.
Well,
So
that's the reward for a keeper, isn't it? If you win,
yeah,
is that's 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 his buzz, if you like. I mean, I play Sunday league football. I play at the back. You get a buzz if you keep a clean sheet. That's your job. It means you've done your job properly. And I think
yeah,
with that clip, I think it was the Villa game, wasn't it?
yeah, it
It was a
was.
good finish. It was a good finish, if I remember correctly. But we had 2 or 3 opportunities to clear it, and we were pissing around.
Yeah,
And that's why he was so upset. If someone slaps on Parsha from 40 yards, what can you do? But I think he was aggrieved with us just being 3-0 up and coasting. And like you say, it's good to see that. I've got no issue with his reaction in the change room
Yeah,
to that. And I think actually he was a good candidate for captain. I don't have a problem with Odegaard getting it, but I think Ramsdale would have been a good candidate for captain because of his personality and his passion for it as well.
yeah. I think
And
definitely
he's
one for the future. But I think I'd I'd have either gone for Gabriel, um, Ramsdale or Odegaard. Obviously, Odegaard's captain for his country. He has got that passion, he has got that drive. But I think if you look at what happened with Xhaka when he was captain, anything that went wrong, was his fault. The fans absolutely love Odegaard. Obviously, they love Ramsdale as well. But I feel like if he's captain and he makes a mistake that leads to a goal, it's that pressure on his shoulders. Is that too much? He had a rocky start when he come in. He's proved himself. Fans love him. We're always just one mistake away from. We know what this fan base is like. It can be really
yeah.
toxic. It doesn't matter who you are. Aubameyang, we turned on him quicker than we turned on him when he wasn't performing, and he single-handedly won us, things a few seasons ago.
Would you have him
Um,
back now that
Aubameyang,
he's available
mm,
for transfer? Would
no,
you?
I wouldn't have him back. I wouldn't have him back because I think he's we're building something now where our strategy is young players, hungry players. I wouldn't have him back because if you look at our team, who's he going to start over? If you look at the whole team as full strength, nobody's injured, who is he actually going to play over?
He wouldn't. He would be a squad option if, in my opinion, if he did come back. I don't know. I didn't like the way it ended,
Yeah,
um, and I felt he had such a good connection with the crowd that he would have liked it to end properly himself, and be intrigued in the next few episodes of the documentary to see what actually happened.
yeah. I think that's important actually because we've only seen
Mm,
one side and you speculate on that. But I mean, if you look at it overall, it's going to cost a lot. I mean, if you come back on, an average wage, then sure, because he is quality. But I think if you're bringing him back on 350K a week,
yeah,
and
I think
it depends what player you get. Do you get the one from a few seasons ago, or do you get the one from the season when he left? Because that is
uh,
obviously two completely different answers.
he's finished. I think in the Premier League. The Premier League's too physical, and you have to be able to play with your back to goal, like Jesus can and things like that, and he can't. So he's literally would be a luxury player. You bring him on if you're 2 or 3 nil up, and see if he
Yeah,
can grab you a fourth goal. I don't, and I think that's why he got phased out. And he's lost sharpness, didn't he, in around the box.
mm,
It was so noticeable when he lost that burst of speed in behind. He wasn't getting to the through balls, and I think like I used to when we first signed him, you think like you put it through, like he run on and score, and then the last year or so, the ball would get put through to him. I was just expecting the defender to mop up.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I would, for nostalgic reasons, say yes, bring him back, especially if it stops him going to Chelsea.
yeah.
But
Can you see
the
that happening? Can you see him going to Chelsea? I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
I can. Yeah, they need a forward, and they work together. Him and Tuchel. I think he'll jump at the chance to come back to London. He'll play Champions League football. They'll pay him what he
yeah,
wants because they're desperate. It's got all the ingredients for the transfer to happen. It's just whether or not there's actually genuine interest or it's just media talk. I'd,
mm,
I'd hate to see him go there, but then at
same.
the same time, I don't fear him going there because I don't see that top player in him anymore. But
No, I think
yeah,
when you put it like that, that it's got potential. He does. It could happen. There is a possibility there, but I don't know how I'd feel about seeing him in, you know,
I'd hate it.
rival like that.
It was. I never liked seeing Giroud in the Chelsea shirt, and he weren't my favourite player at Arsenal.
Mm,
I hated seeing our players go and play for City. I hated seeing Van Persie at United
yeah,
because ultimately they've all got one thing in common: is they all did very well at other clubs. Fabregas another one at Chelsea. They all left Arsenal and won the league or won a big competition, Champions League or whatever.
yeah,
I would I would hate to see another one do it. Um, so I'd hope that he has a bit of loyalty and says, "No, I'm not doing it." But at the same time, you don't know how he left. He could stick 2 fingers up at us and say, "No, I'm going to go and join Chelsea." we don't know what happened, do we? So
And that could be a drive as well. If he isn't happy about the way that things worked out, and I think he stayed. He was loyal. Stayed with us. He got the tattoo of him and his kids. In the tunnel. He, for me, I never thought he was going to leave, even when there was a lot of talk around him leaving. I didn't think he was ever going to leave. The reveal when they said that he'd signed his contract, that was, a big thing as well. When he spoke about the club, he said he wanted to become a legend. Obviously, they're big words. He wanted his kids to come to Ireland. He wanted them to be part of the club in the future. And I think he's got to be disappointed with how it all works out. But I think it's the 11th of August of the next episode. That's when we're really going to get to know more about what actually happened.
yeah,
How much they'll reveal, obviously, that's going to have to wait and see. But it might, as fans, we might say, no, that's unacceptable. Arteta was in the right, the club was in the right. Or we might say, actually, it's not really that much of a big deal. Did it really have to go the way that it went? But
all I'll say on it is there didn't seem to be any backlash from the players, did they, about the decision? And normally, if the player
no,
is in the right, he would have support, but they all seem to not really care. No one said, they all said some nice goodbyes on Instagram and that, but they all do that for their PR anyway, don't they? But
yeah,
no one really battered Arsenal for it or Arteta.
mm,
I would not have let him go in January if we've spent all window, didn't we, trying to get Vlahovic
yeah,
and we failed. I would not have let Aubameyang go. I would have had him there in reserve just in case you needed him. Lacazette was never going to score you 10 goals that we needed. Aubameyang might have. And when I think that some of the games, Southampton away, we lost 1-0, we missed 5 or 6 sitters
mm,
that day. I think that's the difference maker, and we made a bit of a mistake there. But especially when you find out we was contributing heavily to his wages, we might as well just stay at Arsenal and play the part with us.
but
But
then
they
on the
they they
flip,
obviously see him as a bad egg, don't they?
yeah, on the flip side of that is he'd have obviously have people backing him up, maybe not publicly, but he would have had people, that he's close. But obviously, he's got that bromance with Lacazette. They get on
Mm.
really well. You have to then think if Arteta had kept him, would he have disrupted the squad? Because that's the most important. Is obviously keeping the squad together and no disruptions. And I think we improved after he went. But
Yeah.
I get what you mean. We really could have done him, especially done with him, especially for the squad depth towards the end of the season. If we'd have had him against, Brighton, Burnley, would we have? I mean, like you say, it was 1 point. Obviously, there's the goal difference with Spurs, but
Oh,
you
I've
know,
you just reminded me of the Burnley one where Lacazette missed the open goal.
we had a few chances there.
Uh,
Yeah, I think I was on the east stand for that game. I just remember the corner going in. I think it was Odegaard and Smith Rowe went for it. And if he'd have
mm,
made a clean contact, obviously, we'd have won that goal. But it's just the games like that. Um, the games that we really should have been getting something that if we'd have had that squad depth, if we'd have had that player, and obviously we were still in COVID times, we still knew there was going to be disruption.
yeah.
Um, it's I guess the club have made that decision, and we'll never know. We might have kept him, and he could have been like really disruptive. We could have been worse off than we finished. But
Mm.
I suppose it's just food for thought, isn't it? What would have happened?
Well, you are right as well. The form without him initially was good, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
football was better. Lacazette come in, and I think there was a spell where we thumped Norwich, Leeds, someone else. We were playing good football. We played really well under City and lost. Um, and he was in the team and contributing not with goals but assists and bringing others into play. And we weren't missing Aubameyang, but when the ruthlessness in front of goal what mattered, like the Burnley game, Southampton, and other moments second half of the season, he didn't have that instinct. I do wonder if we'd brought Nketiah into the team earlier, would we have snuck over the line?
mm. He's really
Because
impressed me. He has really
yeah,
impressed me.
he's changed my mind. His hold up plays a lot better than I thought it'd be, and an actual link play. I thought for the second goal against Palace, he made a good little run, turned the defender, and obviously sprayed the ball wide, and then got himself in the box. You wouldn't have seen that from him 18 months ago. He
Yeah,
would have been shrugged off. Anderson would have nipped in ahead of him. took the ball away. There's a different player in there. He looks lively and hungry, doesn't he? He's probably a little bit gutted to be back on the bench, but there's plenty of football for him to play.
Yeah, I think that's been shown in
Um,
pre-season, like playing him alongside Gabby as well. Because
mm,
Gabby can play on the left. If needed, he can play there. It's just another option. I think that game against Chelsea, I think everything he actually attempted, he put on target. Um, and he's still only young. He's gonna get better. He's going to improve, and he's one for the future. I think if you look at our young ones, we've got a bright future. If we can keep them all, if we can challenge for what they want to challenge for, they're going to want trophies. They're hungry enough for it. You can see it.
mm,
But I do think looking at what we've got, we have got a really we've got an interesting young squad, and I am looking forward to it. So obviously Leicester next Saturday, not going to be an easy game. They are
no.
they are a team that we know what Leicester can do. We've seen them. It's going to be interesting to see how we turn up. We're at home. It's going to. I can't wait to be back home. Can't wait to actually, feel that atmosphere for a game that is going to really matter, because these are the games. But you look at Palace, you look at Leicester, Burnley as well, Brighton. The teams that on paper we should be beating, and yet they're the ones that give us, you know, they're the ones that give us the trouble, the difficulty. But
Yeah,
these are the games that we have to be getting a result out of, and none of this sitting on a one nil lead, because that is literally going to kill me off. The team are going to give me a heart attack if we keep doing this. Like yesterday, it was just on the 1-0, and we'd obviously not yesterday, Friday. So we'd gone, we took the foot off the gas. Palace were giving us a lot of trouble. And I
mm,
think that's where the difference is for me. With this squad, is that we were able to maintain it. And I think, Arteta said early on, we're going to have to suffer. We're going to have to do it as a team. Premier League's never going to be 90 minutes. You're all over the other team. It's very rare that's going to happen. And we know very well it's going to take one opportunity. And if we're only 1-0 up, that's the difference between, 3 points and 1 point. And come the end
yeah,
of the season, we're going to look back like we do on Burnley, the other games, and say, if we'd have just done this, if we'd have just done that, what could have been. But I think Leicester will get the job done. I think we're at home, coming off the back of the Palace win. We're going to do, you know, we, I think we're going to do well. I don't think it's going to be 3-0, 4-0. I think it's probably going to be 2-1, 3-1. What do you think?
I think we're going to win 3-0. Our record against Leicester is very good,
Mm.
especially at home. And I just think they're having a troubled time. They threw away a 2-0 lead today, am I right? I
Yeah,
think it's 2-2.
yeah,
At home to Brentford, I think that the Leicester that we associate Leicester with has gone. I think they're back to being a lower end table team. They'll sell their best players this summer. I think they're in a bit of financial difficulty, and they'll survive, but they'll do nothing spectacular this year.
yeah,
They've still got some good players. Don't get me wrong. They could cause a threat, but I just think we're well equipped to deal with it. If we're worried about a 35-year-old Vardy still running in behind them, we haven't made the strides forward that we should have made
yeah,
as a club. I just think we'll be at home. The stadium will be buzzing. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Which
yeah,
is
yeah,
which is rare for Arsenal at home. F1 will be right up for it, and I think we'll score early and we'll finish them off. We'll win 3-0. I think and Jesus will get his first league goal for us.
yeah. I think he
I,
looks
I just
he looks
I
comfortable at
don't.
home as well.
Yeah, I think that Ricardo Pereira's out again for 8 months, something like that.
Mm.
They've lost another defender. I don't know if Tillemans has been playing for them with his pending move. He could even be an Arsenal player by then.
Yeah,
I just think they're a squad in a bit of dismay, and we need to take advantage of it. And
yeah. These
if we
are the
mean
games,
business,
though.
we need to win. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll be honest with you. Ultimately, I don't care if we win 1-0 or 4-0.
yeah,
It's the points that matter, isn't it? But I do
exactly.
think it would be comfortable. I think we'll Palace out the first 5 or 6 games, the hardest one on paper. and we passed that test pretty comfortably. I
Yeah.
think this would be the other game you'd look at just because it's Leicester and they can cause problems, but I'd expect us to win comfortably.
So I don't think we've actually got a tough game until we play. Well, I'm not gonna include United. We've got United in September, and then we've got Tottenham. I think.
Everton, isn't it? Everton away, maybe. Is that after United?
I still think for them to be, yeah, I think it is after United. I still think for Everton to be a threat. I mean, we beat them. Was it 5-0 last game of the season? That was obviously at home. They beat us. Did they beat us 2-2?
No, they beat us. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, I think, with Aubameyang and Arteta. He missed a sitter, didn't he, at 1-1. Yeah, they beat us. Damari Gray scored last
Yeah, I
minute.
remember that. There was no way. There was no way anybody was going to get near that. That was a cracking stroke. But
Yeah,
I think they're really struggling at the moment with they're creating something, but they're not able to finish it off. And I think our defense, unless you've got somebody who's really clinical, but you never know what Arsenal you're going to get. We all know this. We think, we get used to us and we think, we're definitely going to win this game. And then like Newcastle away, I knew that wasn't going to be an easy game. But I thought, you know what, we're going to win this. And I still don't know what happened. I watched the whole of that game and I still can't get my head around what happened. But I think Everton will beat Spurs at home. We should be beating.
Is that the 1st of October? I think it is there or thereabouts.
Yeah, 1st of October we've got Tottenham, and then
you've got. I think we're at home to Liverpool then next after that.
Yeah. So we've got Everton on the 11th of September. So we've got United on the 4th, Everton on the 11th, and then we go then Brentford away, and then it's Tottenham.
Oh, Everton's at home. I thought it was away. So
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking that might be a potential banana skin. We should be right there.
so we've got United away. But I mean, there's time there between now and September. But I think United is still in that, figuring it out kind of position. We should be taking points, but
if we don't beat United, there's something wrong. They're an absolute mess.
Yeah.
I know they might by then they might have brought in 4 players, and today's result might kick them up the arse, which is what I fear. They're going to think, oh, actually, we do need to pull our finger out a little bit. But if they go into the game with us, with that team that they put out today, then we should be comfortable winners.
So, out of all the games we've got coming up, which one are you looking forward to? Which is going to be your, standout, have to win, no matter what?
I always like winning away at United. Doesn't happen often enough. So I'm looking at that game next as the one I'm really looking forward to. And I'd love it if we went there and beat them comfortably.
Yeah.
But from a personal point of view, I'm not at Arsenal till the Fulham game, so I'm looking forward to that as well. It'd be nice to get up there. It's the day before my birthday, so we're going up and have a few drinks and hopefully watch them win. Fulham yesterday impressed me, to be fair, from what I see of it against Liverpool. So it's not going to be the straightforward game I thought it was. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one there as well for the Villa game as well. And that's in the evening. I always like an evening game. So yeah, a couple of ones to look forward to end of the month. What about yourself?
What's that one? I think the ones that I'm looking forward to are the City game, Liverpool. Because I think if we can go there and we can play well, hopefully take something from it, it'll give it'll kind of show us where we're at. I think last time we played Liverpool at Anfield in the league, we did well in the first half, and then in the second half it was just like,
we're at home.
Different.
We're at home to Liverpool, I think.
Yeah.
And at home to City.
Yeah,
it's a Thursday night. That one. That's a weird one. Isn't it?
I think that's probably going to be removed, isn't it? I
It's on
can't see.
Amazon. It's already got a kickoff time.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Thursday
a
20th.
yeah, it's a bit random, especially for a big game like that.
Yeah,
Hmm, it's a bit of a random one.
yeah. I
But
think
I
you're right
think,
though. They're the barometer, aren't they, for progress?
I mean, the one that always stands out every season. Every fan probably says would be looking for it is Tottenham home and away because the last game still stings because not being biased, but the officiating just completely took everything out of the game. It meant so much, to both teams, and I think the game was just ruined. I actually want to see us full strength against them, full strength, and both teams really going for it. That'd be a really good game. Hopefully, we'll win it. But yeah, it's the big teams that I'm looking forward to facing because it'll show us where we're at. If we can get something out of them, obviously, at home as well, the fans are just going to be, a completely different level. But I'm also looking to see, who we get in Europe, watching those games.
Yeah.
Be a
There's
different
normally
team.
one. There's normally one decent side, isn't there, in the group, or one big European side that's sort of a sleeping giant, if you like, a
Yeah,
difficult away. We've had Red Star, Frankfurt, teams like that. There's always a glamour tie in the group, so it'd be interesting to see who we get. When is the draw for that anyway? Well, it must
yeah.
be coming up because it starts early September, doesn't it? So,
Mm. Yes, we should know. We should know soonish then. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see
yeah,
who
it's
we
a good
get.
shout actually. I'm looking forward to. Yeah,
And then I think obviously we've already touched on transfers. Leicester next week. Where do you think we're going to finish? Where do you like with the team that we've got now? Obviously we've only had preseason. Where do you think this team should be finishing? Could be finishing, and where do you think we actually will finish?
if the transfer window's shut right now, we should make top four.
Yeah,
Um, just through probably a little bit of hope and expectation of what we might do in the rest of the window, I think we should be pushing for top three.
yeah.
I don't think Europa League is going to hinder us as much as the Champions League will Chelsea and Spurs, which is why I think we'll have an advantage first half of the season.
Yeah.
And the team's good enough as well. It's not like we're a poor side that's punching above our weight. We're in that mix on merit. We're not we're not doing what West Ham have done for the last couple of years and punching a little bit above their weight. We are there because we're good enough to be there, and we're good enough to be in that conversation for top three. And I'm not going to do a Spurs prediction and say they're going to start challenging City for the league because they just embarrassing themselves with it. But there's no reason we shouldn't be finishing top three. At the very least, it has to be top four.
I think I agree there. I mean, if you look at last season, 3 games, 0 points. Um, we got absolutely battered by City. I actually went to that game. Um,
Did you?
yeah, spent. You wouldn't even imagine how much I spent on them tickets. Went with the missus. I was like, "Now we're gonna do well." Obviously, we actually started well. We had an opportunity, and then I thought, we've got nothing to lose. We're gonna go in. We're gonna do what we need to do, and they just. I mean, I stayed till full time. The fans were it was just banter. Like the whole rest of the second half. Obviously, Shaka got sent off. It was just, you've either got to laugh or cry. It was one of them. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think obviously you look how we started last season. We were in a ridiculous situation. We shouldn't have even been thinking about top four. Obviously, Chelsea
No.
dropped. They dropped. We got a win against them. Obviously, that helped. If we'd have actually won the games we were expecting to win, we'd have probably actually finished third. We'd have finished above Spurs, regardless of if they'd have won that game. And I think Spurs would have been obviously below Chelsea. They'd have been fifth. Um, but that's obviously just on paper. We could have done that, and that's with not having 9 points at the beginning of the season. You know, if you look at the teams that finished above us, and the teams that finished, you know, near us, they were all on, you know, 6, 9 points while we had 0. We went on that, you know, that stretch, that winning stretch. And I think you're right. I think, you know, there's no excuses anymore. Arteta's not a new manager. He's, you know, he's getting that experience. He's brought in the players that he wanted. This whole team is his team now, either through wanting to keep the players or bringing his own players in. And I think for a club of, you know, of our stature, we should be aiming for above fourth. We've settled for fourth.
Absolutely.
We've settled for fourth for years, and you know we get the banter from, you know, the rival fans, or, you know, finish fourth, finish fourth. But you know, to do it as Wenger did it for as many years, it's different now because teams have improved and the league is much, you know, I think it is much harder. You know, you get the smaller teams as such that, you know, like Villa last season, they did quite well. They are teams that will take points off you. And like yesterday, Fulham obviously taking points off Liverpool. This is what's going to happen. It's going to happen across, you know, all teams. But I think third and above is where we're aiming for. And I don't we're not in the same category as City and Liverpool, but I believe in 2, 3 years we will challenge for something a bit more. We will finish, you know, third comfortably, and I think the owners are going to back us. The fans are behind the team. As long as the team perform, you know, Arteta does what he's got to get done. I think the future, you know, it does look bright. So I think I'm with you on that one. Third,
Third's very
yeah,
achievable, isn't it? It's not like I'm not saying we'd definitely finish third because Tottenham could do it. There's not a clear gap either way between the two sides. It's very evenly matched, and I think Chelsea will add to their team and join that conversation.
yeah,
And it'll be a 3-way fight for that third place. I think, but we just get disrespected. You know, Arsenal won't do it. Blah blah blah. But it's kind of it might help us not to be in that limelight and just plod along and do our own thing
yeah,
and surprise a few people. But the team's definitely good enough. It's
yeah,
just whether or not, if Thomas Partey becomes unavailable for one reason or another,
yeah,
is there that quality player to go in as, is Lokonga going to play his role for 10 games? No, which is why we need extra bodies in there. But you don't fear an injury to Tomiyasu now, do you? Because Ben White will play there.
yeah,
If Tierney can't play or you want to rest Tierney, Zinchenko slots in. No, Ben White will play for either Gabriel or Saliba, and you don't lose any strength at the back really. There's lots to be hopeful for with us. We've got a good 17 or 18 to choose from, core players. If we can make that 2021, then I think we're in good shape for the season.
yeah. We really have
And then
no excuses now.
and then the future transfer windows, without wishing this summer away already, become about adding quality rather than quantity.
Yeah. And then that's where you go out, with the big bucks and say, right, this player's gonna take us to that next level. Kind of what Liverpool did. They went out, they got Alisson, they got Van Dijk, and they took their team from a good team to a great team. And then obviously, they've got Klopp. I think he's a great manager. If you look at what he started with to what he's got now, I do kind of get the kind of vibe that we're moving in that direction. We're building on it. We're getting a good squad. It's about taking the club now from a good squad to a great squad. We want to get back to where people don't want to play against Arsenal. They don't want to play against us anymore. But yeah, I think it's been a good first chat. I think it's gone quite well. I've been great to actually speak to you. We'll definitely bring you on again. We've got next week on Sunday at 6 for Leicester. Next week, we're going to do it on Sunday at 6. I had originally put it on for Facebook on the Everything Arsenal page, which is another page that I've run. So go and check that out. I'm getting followed on Facebook. It's usually just pictures. I don't really post much match content. That's for Instagram. Don't forget to follow YouTube, The Arsenal Way, because this is where most of the content's going to go. Eventually, we'll move up to video, webcam. We'll have, the guys' faces on and we'll talk rather than just audio. But just want to see how this has gone. Obviously, it's been great having you, Paul. I've been speaking to you for a while now.
Really enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah, I'm me. I think, having you on. Obviously, you're one of the people that, it's like, when's it happening? Giving me a kick up the arse. Let's get this done. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think it's gone well. Hopefully, the guys that have been asking for this will enjoy it. Hopefully, we'll get more on. We'll get the lads from TCF on next week. They're doing their own podcasts. Go and check them out on Instagram. And yeah, we'll be back next week, Sunday, with another one with the lads, see what's gone on. Hopefully, a really good win against Leicester. Hopefully, still buzzing from it. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we get on. But thanks, Paul. It's been really, really great having you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. As I said, really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next one already. And looking forward to the next Arsenal win.
Yes, definitely.